Hello and welcome to the Comfy Crafter. I am the Comfy Crafter and I am going to be doing the final part of the Arthur Bunny pattern today, which is the head. Well, I'm going to be crocheting the final part. The next video I'll have sewing up. As always, I'll be using a formula meter crochet hook, a pair of craft scissors, the pattern and a pencil, and I'll also need a stitch mark rod too. If you have been enjoying these videos and would like to see more, or even if you're not enjoying them but you would like to see the car crash that is my videos, please think about liking and subscribing. It really does help me see where I am going right or wrong. This is double crochet again, so I'm not going to bore you with an hour of real-time footage, which is how long it took to create the head. I was running out of wool, so I decided to choose the alternate head pattern, which is called, I think it's the Reggie pattern, which is basically a striped nose on his face as opposed to a solid pattern. The pattern itself is again still double crochet, and it's for that reason I'm going to skip over a lot of the creation because it's just one stitch. In order to create the stripe on his face, we are going to be doing a bit of colour changing, and in order to do a colour change on any stitch, you do the beginning of the stitch in your original colour and then the yarn through in the new colour. So for a double crochet, that means that I will go through the stitch, do the first yarn over pull through in the original colour and to get the 2 loops on your hook, and then when you go back through to pull the yarn through those 2 hoops, you're going to pull through the new colour. And this is a very effective way of creating a colour change. It's not jogless or seamless. You can see the change in the colour, and you can see the join where it happens, which isn't a problem for this pattern. But some patterns you may want to, if you're changing like a full stripe, for example, you may want to do an alternative method of colour change. There are a couple, and I will be doing examples. One is to do sort of a whole row of half stitches in one colour, half stitches in another. But as I say, I'll do some examples of that later on. The head is sort of an egg shaped when it's completed, so in order to achieve that in the pattern, you go up in steady increments, so sort of 1 DC 1 increase, then next row 2 DC 1 increase, 3 DC 1 increase, etc. And that creates a nice seamless is the wrong word. It creates a nice incremental increase, and then towards the end of the pattern, you'll see that the decreases become much more rapid. So, whereas on an increase you might have an increasing row, then a row of stitches with no increases, and then an increasing row, and then a standard row. On a decrease, you'll have each row will have a decreasing number of stitches, and it'll be a much more steep decrease. Stuffing the head here, I'm stuffing it quite firmly, mainly because the nose pattern that I've done for me always creates quite a stiff nose area, so I want to stitch it quite firmly to really get in there. And then I'm closing up. Now to close up again, it's decreases, but it's small decreases, so it's or rather it's big decreases in that it's a 1 stitch decrease, 1 stitch decrease, and then on the next row just decrease, decrease. So you get down to a very small hole, which you then finish off with a slip stitch and snip your yarn to a suitable length. You want to leave it long enough that you can get a needle on, so that you can make sure you close up that hole and pull a needle through the main body of the head. You don't need to leave a long trail on this one, because the head is going to be sewn onto the body with the tail that was left on the body rather than on the head. Once you've got that hole sewn up, you're just going to pull the thread through tight, snip it off, and then the end will bounce back in. So that's all of Arthur Bunny now done in terms of the composite parts. We've got the body, well, those 2 arms, the body, and 2 ears, as well as the head. And in the next video, I'm gonna sew them all together, and we'll finally see what Arthur Bunny looks like.